To Glen's point, it's going to be really, really cheap.
It seems
be
good for the
cheap on
user.
Google.
I just wonder for the advertisers how it's going to work and how you roll advertising into something that seems right now so user-centric.
As you can all tell, we're very miserable. Glen is making us do this. So welcome to our podcast. Look at Colby's face. He's so happy.
So what's the name of this meeting? What are we calling it?
Honestly, I freaking love the name. Curry, cheese, and Vegemite.
Curry, cheese, and Vegemite.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You know who it is. 3 gurus on the mic, no matter where you live. Turning up the volume, ignite the light. Curry, cheese, and Vegemite. We're bringing you the ads that'll ignite. Tips and tricks to get it right. Every week we take flight. From the streets of Pakistan, spicing up the flow. Usama on the beat, now you already know. Mixing up the data like a mass solid blend. Optimizing ads so the clicks never end. Straight out of Canada. It's Colby on the scene. Cheddar sharp tactics, marketed machine. Slice through the noise, let me grade these facts. Layer up your ads, watch the clicks attract. Dave from down under, Glen's taking flight. Spreading wisdom thick like Vegemite. Aussie insights on that PPC. Navigating waves of the Google Sea. Curry, cheese, and Vegemite. Unwrapping all the trends tonight. Get your strategies airtight. We elevate, we unite.
It doesn't get better than that. If you all were confused, I'm the curry. For some reason, Colby is cheese, but vegan cheese, and Glen is our Vegemite.
The Vegemite from Australia.
Facts.
So this is our weekly roundup.
Before we even get into that, Colby is like cheese perfect. Like he's got the yellow hair, the blonde, like fits the dynamic or whatever you want to call it perfectly.
I think this is the most quiet I've ever been.
It is.
The first few
Kind
seconds.
of surprised.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't worry. It won't last.
Don't be lulled into false sense of security with Colby.
Yeah.
He's not very quiet.
He's the least quiet.
So this is just the format of this is just going to be a wing of things. We've got a basic template that we'll be going through, but for the first one, we're just going to go through any news that's happening in Google for, that's happened in the last week, any strategies that we're testing and working with, and any tools, tips, and AI that we might come up. And then if we have time at the end, we'll be going through the YouTube channel and pulling out questions from the YouTube videos and running them through here and then answering them.
I'm going to turn my light on so I can be an influencer.
I need a ring light.
Yeah.
A ring light.
Look at that.
Hey.
I see absolutely no difference.
No.
Well, Usama, you just don't get it.
His eyes look pretty.
Oh, look, I got a light too, guys.
Yeah, you look like you're on an Android.
Huh? I'm pretty sure I have a better Mac than you.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to start, but we're just going to wing this one. We're kind of expecting the 3 people that watch this, 2 because the first one person's going to leave because they got scared of Colby, but we're going to kind of expect you to toss topics at us, questions you have, and then we're just going to start going down random rabbit holes, and the more questions you have, the more stuff we have to talk about, and more rabbit holes and more stuff we get to show you. Obviously, all the sensitive information is going to be blurred out, so we don't give client to it, and we're going to try not to say client names. Colby, looking at you, and call it a day.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be giving out social insurance numbers, credit card numbers. This is going to be a huge scam, and probably some sort of government takedown will happen.
Sweet.
But Glen, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, I was going to say, Glen, take the lead.
So probably the news that kicked off a couple of weeks ago now and everyone's sort of aware of is the AI engines that are now going to be playing in the search sandpit. OpenAI's Search GPT. And obviously the view here is they're obviously challenging Google's search monopoly. But for those that haven't seen it, it's probably worthwhile investigating this, because I envisage that down the track there's going to be paid
ads on this.
Paid ads, yeah, in the search.
You know what's interesting? Ever since I've downloaded ChatGPT on my phone, you can still see your screen. But ever since I downloaded ChatGPT on my phone, I have not used Google to search for anything on my phone if I'm on my phone.
No,
on my laptop, yeah, sure. But if I'm like walking around and I need to check something or something comes to mind, immediately open up the ChatGPT, and I start a new conversation with it. I'm like, huh.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think as Google advertisers too, this is something we need to monitor, because I know there is a relationship between Microsoft and ChatGPT, but perhaps in the future, I think we're looking at the way that users search. That probably will transform. I mean, it might not be overnight, but in time we could see this changing. So, don't be a one-trick pony. Embrace new technology, because you never know what's on its way out.
Yeah, and the interesting thing I'm seeing here, you can see the citations here that they're getting. From my understanding, is OpenAI's got associations with Forbes, obviously, and then it's pulling direct citations from Google support as well. What I expect down the track is that some of these citations, they will have paid ads or paid links in here as well. Perplexity I think they've started paid ads.
Yeah.
For those that don't know Perplexity, that's another AI. It's actually, that's the one I use the most, to be honest. I use Perplexity for all my searching.
Yeah,
nearly.
it feels like here's my dumb explanation, Glenn, and since you're the AI guy, you can tell me if you can make it better. But for me, Perplexity is what the ChatGPT with search was, but before you could get the ChatGPT with search. What do you think about that?
Well, the difference between Perplexity and with ChatGPT, at this stage, ChatGPT is still quite rudimentary in its results. But if I was to type the same search term that I've just typed into OpenAI or ChatGPT into Perplexity, you've got a lot more options to determine on what you want. Let's go to web, but it's a lot more detailed in the results that it gives you. It gives you a lot more citations. You can see this was updated 6 hours ago, and its summary is a lot more detailed. That's what I find. And then it comes up with these related search terms down the bottom. Now, this is where, and there was a concept that was released a short while ago. This is where the paid ads are going to start rolling out. There'll be in these related links, there'll be a promoted link in there. Reddit showed it yesterday of the concept of the ads. Now, it's really annoying a lot of people who use Perplexity, especially the pro users.
So pro users are getting ads?
Well, yeah. Apparently the pro users are going to be getting ads too. So they're not happy about it. But as advertisers, as paid media buyers, this is something that we need to be aware of and jump on this very, very quickly. With a view of getting additional traffic for our clients. Once an advertising interface rolls out, it behooves us to get in there as quickly as we can and start testing this and seeing, like anything with a ground floor opportunity, it's probably going to be beta, but it won't be as expensive when you first start using it, and competitiveness will be low.
I think it'll be really good in terms of like visibility standpoint. I don't know how the targeting of it is going to work out or where it's going to place it, but to Glenn's point, it's going to be really, really cheap.
It seems good for the user. I just wonder for the advertisers how it's going to work and how you roll advertising into something that seems right now so user-centric. But maybe we would have said the same thing about search in the beginning. And also, the most important point, Glenn taught me what behooves meant a few days ago. So Want to make sure we note that.
Same search results inside Google. The thing that as an advertiser, and this is, I was thinking about this yesterday, that when you're looking at a search term, and this is going to lean itself into businesses creating more content like blog posts, and then you look at people also ask, so you'll find your seed search term, and then you'll see a search term that might be related, and then you'll start building your content around specific search terms. So this one here, if I was to click on what are the headlines on Google Ads, as soon as I've clicked that, see how now there's more results showing. So if I click that one there, and then it starts showing us more. So the idea is that just keep clicking on each result, and Google's going to start giving you exactly what you should be writing content on a specific search term. That's what's going to give businesses ideas on creating blog posts for specific keywords. Again, I'm assuming that tools like Perplexity and ChatGPT are eventually going to have to give search volume data in the reporting or the ads interface, like Google has its keyword tool. So you can have a look at, okay, is it worthwhile even trying to run ads for specific search terms or keywords? Is it going to be search term related? Is it going to be more long tail related that we'll be targeting instead of short term keywords? Short tail.
I definitely think it's going to be search term related, mostly because if that's literally what it is, it's a type out search platform, and that's what people are doing. They're doing research, they're searching out stuff and carrying out regular tasks in it. So I even think they might start batching them into user profiles, right? And then having that, and then maybe run like the side, like almost maybe like a native style ad on the right side of it, or even the left or at the bottom of each thing. That's very similar to what they searched for as a whole, as like a blog post, but a sponsored one. Like here's a blog post to pretty much exactly what you're looking for, kind of like what native ads does when you're on like news websites and whatnot. What are you doing, Glenn?
I'm just seeing what Google's going to give us. So obviously there's top stories.
Yeah.
I think no ads here yet, which is interesting. But if I use the same,
that'll be interesting to see.
Best Buy, there you go. Look at that. Best Buy, Yahoo Style, Canadian Tribe, New York Post.
Yep. So I think eventually those little connections might just be sponsored.
Yeah.
Colby, you're muted.
Let's see what Perplexity gives us. Now, this is just
I was going to say, I was just going to, I'm sorry that I can't stop bunching in here, but I just wonder what criteria both of those tools are using when they do that. Because, with, sure, there's SEO and whatnot when it comes to Google, but I just wonder if there is some different criteria that Perplexity and OpenAI are using, just because I wonder how user confidence is going to be. Because with Google, you start to feel like, it's just the biggest and best who are going to win.
Well, so if you look at Perplexity here with the same search phrase, you'll see the answer here. Then it's broken down like electronics, home and kitchen. Now, this is a perfect place to run a promoted ad. You could have something in there, a snippet about the promotion that you're running with the link that goes directly to your actual sale. Yeah. So these interfaces are setting themselves up perfectly to have these citations linking directly to paid ads. There'll probably be like a promotion link or something on these citations. The thing is, most people, especially if they're starting to use these search terms, the same way that if you're going into Google and sometimes you don't see the promoted little tag on an ad, people just think they're organic because they sort of blend in with organic. This will be these companies are going to be trying to do the same thing. They're going to try and make these citations blend into the organic citations, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yep. I 100% agree with that. Like they're going to blend it in completely with all the organic ones. So I feel like if you started something like, those blog posts which are like top 10, and then they're just running affiliate offers kind of stuff in those stuff, like top 10 supplements for weight loss. Let's just go with that, right? And then all those links are just affiliate links for that. Those ones would pop off in something like this.
But you guys, so think about that change in user or even advertiser behavior. It seems like the onus may go from, we were previously being technical in Google Ads or finding keywords and doing everything. Does that mean we're going to need to shift our focus into content development and more SEO than what we had done? I mean, it's all theoretical. We don't really know, but that's what I've been wondering.
100%.
And there's lawsuits and stuff too on the horizon where do people want to have their websites crawled by these?
I don't think they'll be able to get out of it though. Obviously, I don't think everyone will get access to it, and there'll be some conditions to that. But I think eventually, because ChatGPT is doing it, Perplexity is doing it, and it's doing it on all the major networks and the major websites and crawling them and finding you stuff, right? So I think it'll happen.
On that point, though, when websites have got their DNS settings set up with their registrar, there's an ability inside Cloudflare. If you're using Cloudflare to handle your DNS settings, there is a setting in there. It's free to block the AI engines if you're using Cloudflare. Yeah. So it stops the AI bots crawling your website looking for information.
But let me ask you this, like, what's the downside? Like, what's the benefit of that versus what's the downside?
I know the benefit, but the benefit is like you are like the New York Times or something. You're some sort of someone who has the same system, right? Like the New York Times is having a lawsuit for, with OpenAI because they have all of their data. Like they want people to go to New York Times so then they can give them ads, essentially, right? Like they want to be that hub. But OpenAI is doing the same thing using something like just using their information. But if you have owned information, you may not want to have that shared because you could be profiting off that further, where with something like OpenAI, they can just take it all and crawl. So most instances, yes, it's a benefit. But if you are something like that, I can't think of anything intelligent to say about how you describe that. If you're a repository of information.
So would you go as far as to describe it as an Uber, taxi, Airbnb, hotel, Facebook, booking.com, and then random hotel website situation where it's been dominated by these industries and websites or whatever you want to call it, and now there's like this third-party individual, new brand, new software that's come out of nowhere and just simplified the whole process and made it extremely more a disruptive technology that showed up out of nowhere. And it's just messing with everybody now. I think I would put it in that. I would put it in that ballpark.
From an organic perspective, websites like Forbes. So Forbes has got a massive domain authority. But what they started doing is they started creating all this content around televisions, dishwashers. Like, what's that got to do with Forbes? And they were ranking organically, pushing a lot of other like industry-specific content down the search engines. Google's penalized Forbes now. Now a lot more niche-specific websites are ranking better because of Google's re-indexing of non-relevant seed domains to the product. So all of those big sites were running just anything they could and putting AdSense ads and making revenue from those ads. From the clicks on AdSense, that's now being adjusted by Google.
I think it might just become a shared model, a split model. Like if they're promoting, let's just say it's like a New York Times situation, and ChatGPT is running ads, and New York Times starts showing up, or for some reason they get a New York Times click, or whatever happens. Like both networks get involved. It just might end up being like ChatGPT gets a portion of the whatever clicks or however they choose to charge, and then New York Times ends up getting it, and that'll probably be the compromise they come to, because I don't think it's unavoidable, because then you would disrupt the whole industry as a whole in terms of
but it is their intellectual property, right? So that's the thing. That'll be like and so that's where you always hear it's like artists and creators and those types of people who face the difficulties. But like me as an advertiser, I'm like, oh yeah, like get it all on there. Let's make some money. But if you're one of those other people, you're probably a little afraid. Rightfully so.
I mean, it might become like think of it as YouTube, right? Where you have a bunch of content creators and then people run ads and they get a portion of that ad, right? So now these platforms might become, you have a bunch of content creators that are already out there, you run ad and these platforms get a portion of it kind of situation.
I can't think of any other good analogies. So let's move on.
Yeah, I think we can talk about that more in the upcoming episodes, especially once there's more insights into availability for advertisers to access the paid platform. It's like nothing's there yet. Probably the closest platform that is looking at integrating is Perplexity at this stage. But I'm keeping an eye on any availability that comes up there. So as soon as we get that, we'll start sharing some insights on that.
3 experts, 1 mic, and 1 million views, bringing you the news you can really use. From Pakistan to Canada to Aussie land, we connect the world with a master plan. So plug in, subscribe, don't miss the show. Curry, cheese, and Vegemite, let the knowledge flow. Google Ads secrets we unveil and write. Every week we're live, come join the flight.